Journaling is the act of writing, typing, or talking about random stuff in a small book, otherwise known as a journal, or your phone, or your computer. The stuff could be anything. It can be done however you want, and it can be done however often you want. And it can also be done for many different reasons. It's a very easy thing to do, and you could probably just exit this video right now and start journaling right away, because I basically told you how to do it. Ways to journal. Writing. Writing is hard, especially if you have terrible handwriting. And that can be a push factor because you won't be able to read your writing, rendering the whole thing useless. But that doesn't matter, as the objective of journaling is not to write with terrific spelling and grammar and handwriting, but more so on getting thoughts out of your head onto paper. I very much recommend doing this way of journaling because I'm kind of biased to this since I've done it for a very long time, but I also think it's a good way to send you to sleep, and naturally you'll get better handwriting. It's very important if you're at school, I think, because you do lots of writing in there and teachers will be able to read your writing well, and that would be great. And also just other students as well. This is also the cheapest way to do it because you won't need to use a phone or computer to do it, and it's very accessible and easy to start. Though I wouldn't say it's the most durable or most everywhere, but it's pretty good. Typing. If you don't want to write and you think that it's too slow, typing on a computer or a phone is an alternative to that. I don't do this because I started with writing, and also I do this before bed, so having a light on my face won't help me with getting good sleep. But it's a good way to quickly put down all of your thoughts and feelings, and it's definitely smaller and more durable than a physical journal. It's very easy to edit. Autocorrect probably exists on whatever you're planning to use, so spelling and grammar isn't really a worry there. It's very easy to copy and paste all the entries for quoting or just moving it across other documents. This one would probably be the easiest medium to start with because the pros I listed before. I wouldn't recommend doing this medium of journaling if you're doing it just before sleep, as it could probably negatively impact your sleep. But you also don't have much freedom with this medium because you can't really do drawings on it or any funny stuff. And things like Google Docs or just any document typing thing, whatever, they're very restrictive on where you get to write. Voice or video. Another alternative is doing voice or video recordings. This one is probably the fastest way of journaling, but also it can be the most expensive way if you decide to do video, because video files can get big fast. But if you want to post those entries on YouTube or another video sharing platform, you should be fine. This option has the most freedom because literally anything can be featured in video, but there is still a chance that it can be boring. Doing voice recordings will get the job done fast, but it'll be very hard to go back through it because you'll only be seeing sound waves and no bits of text. But as it is fast, voice recordings are only limited to sounds, so the only freedom you have with that is just making wacky sounds that words probably won't be able to record. Remember that you can do whatever you want. Purpose. You could journal for many reasons. It could be a way to document your life or projects and all the ups and downs, and then you can look back at it in the future. It can be used to track progress on things and goals that could relate to self-improvement and projects. Sometimes you could just do it to get stuff out of your mind, especially if you're trying to sleep and there's a thought that's bothering you. Some people use it to learn about themselves, and you can get all analytic over yourself with journaling about how something made you feel or whatever. It can be used as something to put all your thoughts into and turn into a conversation with yourself. And there's no judgment from anyone because no one is going to see it. You can vent if you don't have anyone to talk to. You can talk smack about anyone and anything. The last 3 points I said linked to reducing stress and coping with depression. But some people do it for their mental health because they struggle with depression and anxiety stuff. I'll put a link in the description and I'll put a card up in the video so you can have a look at it if you want to read it. Frequency. Journaling can be done however often you want. Once a day, once a week, twice a day. Whenever something cool happens, whatever, doesn't matter. This could be spontaneous or planned, and you could do it any time of day. There isn't much to say about this aspect of journaling, but this should be all. What to journal about? Now you know how to journal and why to journal, we need to figure out what to journal. This obviously varies depending on why you're journaling, but it can mostly just be whatever comes to mind. If your head feels like nothing is going on, and you don't know what to journal about, here are some suggestions. About your day. Something cool that happened. Something that wasn't cool. There could be a balance of both cool and not cool things. School, if you go there. Some small everyday thing that might actually be big and impactful once you think about it. Something different you did today. You could talk about someone that you like or think is cool, or the opposite, links back to cool or not cool. Something that you might do tomorrow. You could journal about a project, explaining it, purpose and the goal of the project, progress that's been made in that day or maybe period of time. You could brainstorm on what could be done to finish it, or maybe you've encountered a problem and you need to think about how to solve it. And you can also just do random things, like you can go on rants, talk about random things happening in the world, like, I don't know, wars if you want to go there, or people, could be celebrities, or just some guy on the news who, I don't know, touched a beehive. Could be anything. Remember that the journal is basically just your world, but it doesn't have to be big. So if you don't have many things to write, like many words for what you want to write about, don't worry about that. And the list can be bigger and will get bigger once you even have a look at one of these things, as you'll find a way to expand on it. Formatting. Formatting can vary depending on what journaling medium you're going to use. But it doesn't matter too much, but being organized is very good, especially if you need to look back at these entries in the future. Keep note that there's no formatting stuff for the actual journaling. It's just covering the bit that goes before and maybe after the entry. Writing. Writing is the medium I'm most familiar with, so I have quite a large amount of words to say for this medium. When I do it, I put the full date, day, month, year, on the top corner of the page with the day above that. You can put a start of journaling time on there if you want to see how long it takes for you to do a whole entry. There can also be a little title somewhere around the top, but it could be in the middle of the entry if you want to do that for some reason. Also, if you're tracking your mood, you can write your mood out of 10 either at the end of your entry or at the start and reflect on that. These things do not act as a key to start journaling. You can go without a date or a title. It's really just up to you, but it's a suggestion. Typing. This one is weird because you could either have a single document for all of your entries or a separate doc for each entry. But probably somewhere in the doc, before the entry, or even in the file name, you could put the date and title there before the entry or as the file name. Again with the mood thing, just like in writing, it could either be at the start or the end of the entry. And that's pretty much it. Recording. Recording should be the same as typing, either saying the date and or time, or you could put that in the file name, or you could do both. Here are some tips that might help with your journaling. If you want to try to do this consistently, but can't find any motivation to do it, or you have no idea what to journal about, what I suggest you do is keep the journal as close to you as possible, and then when the day comes, get it out, put in the date and title if you can, maybe day and time if you want to as well, and then just start going on about your day, and then something will come to you. And if it doesn't, I don't know, just talk about how tired you are or how bored you are, whatever. One thing I like to do at the end of an entry, this goes for writing, is make a little drawing that can somewhat relate to the topic of the entry. It makes each entry very distinct, and I can just look at the drawings if I was trying to look for an entry, but it'll be very easy to forget what you draw, especially for each entry if you're doing plenty. And that is the end of the video. That's how to journal. I hope this video helps you and you do a cool journaling. This is my second tutorial video for my passion project thing, and this time I'm trying to make the thing look a little bit cooler. I think I realized I may have messed up. Actually, I'm going to make this a separate video, whatever.